Hello and welcome to Matt Chambers Connects, a podcast hosted by Matt Chambers. This is the podcast that transcends boundaries, empowers cross-cultural connections, and fosters a more connected world. I'm your host, Matt Chambers, and I invite you to join us on this quest to expand our understanding and build bridges between my two favorite places on the planet, Latin America and the United States. I've been traveling, living, and doing business in Latin America for nearly 2 decades.
Hey guys, hello and welcome to the podcast again. I'm Matt Chambers, your host, and I'm here today with my friend and Violeta Bernal from, 6-7 years ago we met, right? It's been...
sí, like forever.
It's been quite a while.
Yeah.
We're here in beautiful Medellin, Colombia, and Violeta and I met one day at a coffee shop, and we've been in touch since, and since then she's become the number one...
Well, it was actually at the gym.
Oh yeah, I know. I keep messing that up. But you keep correcting me on that. I swear I thought we met at Pergamino.
Because that's not where we met. We met at the gym.
Oh, okay. So we met at the gym.
And we had our first class in Pergamino.
Ah, okay. That's
Yeah.
what happened. Okay.
But it was at the gym.
But at that point, you were just starting out, kind of, right?
No. I started back in 2012.
In 2012, and I met you like around 2017, something like that.
Something like that.
We met at Pergamino, right?
No, it was at the gym because I was stalking you. No, mentiras. You were stalking me.
That happens a lot, by the way.
You were stalking me. And yeah, that's what I remember. So, because honestly, I remember pretty well. And that's what I keep correcting you where we met. Because honestly, you are the only person that I have met at the gym. And no one talks to me at the gym. I don't know why.
No
one.
Well,
honestly.
I don't know. The gym's kind of... what are you saying? I'm the only one that interrupted your workout?
Kind of. No, but not really. But honestly, no one talks to me in the gym. Maybe it's because I'm very concentrated and my face is so serious. But yeah, it was you. And last year, after many years of being working out at the gym, that another guy talked to me. But that's it.
No one likes you at the gym, huh?
Maybe I'm just too... No, well, actually at the gym where I go right now, once I was asking to the coaches, and because for some reason I'm very close to the coaches, but not to the people that train there.
Are you still training in that gym?
No, in Ultra. No, I don't train there anymore. Now I work out in 101 Boxing Club. Although I don't do boxing, I do the other classes they have there, or I just work out by myself there. But
why
when
did
I
you
was
quit
asking,
Ultra? It got expensive, man.
Well, practically here all gyms are expensive. So, because there in 101 is kind of the same. They charge you depending on the amount of lessons you do per month. So, yeah, I guess just gyms are expensive here.
Yeah.
And when I was asking them why what is the reason they think no one talks to me? One coach told me like, well, you look very serious. You are so into the workout. When I see the other people hanging out, gossiping, I'm like, oh, I get it now. Because I do go there to work out, not to make friends. To make friends.
No, I think I go with the idea of working out and then I end up meeting friends. I spend more time on that.
I don't know what happens with me. Maybe because, well, honestly, at least in this gym, when I do the classes, the group classes, I am the one that is giving it all.
Yeah, maybe you have that intimidating face where people just don't want to approach you.
Yeah, they told me that. It's like, you're just too serious. You're so into the workout. So it's not like, no, we cannot interrupt her. So
yeah, no, I definitely noticed that you're certainly a focused person, and I could see where you'd be a little bit intimidating, maybe.
See, a lot. Yeah.
And I get that for myself too. So I don't know. When I see someone like you, I just kind of figure that, I just want to be annoying and make sure that I'm trying to break your serious face and bring out a little bit of a
kind
smile.
of. Yeah, that's true. I'm not like normal paisa. No, I know. I mean, my paisa friends actually tell me that it's like, you're just weird. But I like it. I like being the bicho raro and the black sheep, and I don't care.
No, being weird's good. I like being weird. I've been weird my whole life.
See? Bueno, so that's why you talk to me. So yeah, that's what I remember so well, the situation about the gym, because my first time that Jorge was like, oh, someone talked to me? Oh, what? So
Why didn't we talk after that, really? We went to a couple Pergamino classes or something. And
see. And
you would probably gave me that intimidating mean face, and I was just like, all right.
Whatever.
Like, screw this.
No, I don't know. But anyway.
So, we obviously know that you've been teaching Spanish for 12 years now, and that you've just recently, over the last 5 years, turned it into a legit company, a legit business. But I want to go back and kind of get a little bit about the history of your life and what brought you to this point, and then we'll get into more details about the language itself and what brought you down that road. But growing up in Medellin, Colombia, for you, take me through a little bit of that, a little bit of your life, maybe the highlights from childhood to now.
Well, when I was young, there was still all this drama with Pablo Escobar. And back in that time, I was living in another neighborhood. Right now, I live in Poblado, but I grew up in Buenos Aires. It's close to downtown, El Centro. And I remember in my condominium, there used to be, a guy lived there, and he was one of Pablo Escobar's employees, I don't know the word, sicarios in English, no sé.
The sicarios are, back in the day when Pablo Escobar used to hire sicarios, they were the guys on the motos. There'd be two guys on the moto, one guy's driving and one guy on the back, and the guy on the back's job was to...
Well, still, there are sicarios still in the city. But one of the big sicarios was living there, and it was quite interesting because, he brought a lot of prosperity to the condominium, giving out gifts, but it was also trouble. And I remember after they killed Pablo Escobar, they went after the employees, the sicarios, and of course after this guy. So the neighborhood kind of became insecure and unsafe. So I remember one day I came back from school, and there was like a lake of blood. And it was because, on a little...
At your building?
No?
At
the porteria, the gate.
Wow.
And I got out of the bus, and I saw all the blood in the floor. And it was because they shoot the portero, the watchman. And
the portero is the night guard, the guy that's guarding the gate.
So the guy, I don't know what happened exactly, but there was blood, and there were also like visceras from, from stomach, and, I don't know. Like it was kind of like, like pieces of organs.
Oh, yeah.
Like the intestinos.
Intestines.
Yeah. So, it was like, wow. It was shocking.
Wow.
See, so that was during the 90s. Then we had this president, Álvaro Uribe. Things got better.
Cleaned it up, yeah.
I mean, he was like un mal necesario, as we say, something that is bad, but we need it. But he cleaned up all this bad situation with the guerrillas and these criminal groups. And then I remember it wasn't safe to travel outside Medellin. Just going 40 minutes outside Medellin was dangerous. And with my mom and her boyfriend, we used to go to the coast in the car. I don't know why my mom was that crazy. I remember while we were on the road, looking at buses on fire.
Buses on fire.
Yeah, it was normal because the guerrilla used to just get buses on fire as a threat, or they just kidnap people from those buses, or if there was someone important. And that's what I said. I don't know what my mom was thinking about, because if you were important or rich, of course you were going to get kidnapped. But we didn't, fortunately.
And you were really young then.
Like 12, 11.
92.
In the 93, I was 7.
You were 7, so that's the year Pablo Escobar died, December
when he died.
2nd, yeah.
And then with these buses on fire, it was in the 99, then I was 12. And then the guerrilla was also blowing away the electricity towers. So we had electricity cut-ups. It was quite normal. And also the whatever bomb, like the car bomb, the chair bomb, you name it, bomb. So
that was back when I think they blew an Avianca plane out of the sky.
see,
Right in the
it
middle of the
was
city.
everything bomb. And actually, I remember this story of a woman that she had a collar bomb. If you Google like collar bomb woman Colombia, you will find the story. It was very shocking. I still remember. And yeah, she just.
Wait, tell me a little bit of detail about that.
I was very young. I don't remember pretty well the story, but it was just a way to extortion the government. And they brought these explosion experts there to save this woman's life, but they couldn't. They just.
What was the significance of the collarbone?
Well, because it's something that is very shocking. I mean, it's like, imagine you have like this PVC like collar, but it's full of explosives.
Oh, she had.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
She had a collar made of PVC, and it was just, or PVC is how we say it in Spanish. Yeah, she died. They tried to save her, but they couldn't.
So your childhood was coming up out of that. You kind of grew up at that time where you saw it, and then you saw Medellin after as well.
And then when I was just becoming a teenager, then my friends, because we were in Colombia, we have this strato classification from 1 to 6. So I guess Buenos Aires is around 3, I guess. Back in the
time, just for the people that aren't listening to, that haven't spent time here, stratas are the classification of socioeconomic status. So you can live in a neighborhood from strata 1 all the way up to strata 6. Strata 1 means it's a very poor neighborhood, and then strata 6 is a rich neighborhood. And the city and country, I believe, charges you electricity and water based on...
It's based, and the strata is based on the location, not your incomes. So as we were growing up, my friends were going on the bad way, because it's just the context.
There weren't a lot of options, right?
Yep. So fortunately, my mom got us out of that neighborhood, and we moved to Belén, and things were better for us. Because normally in these areas, well, unfortunately, guys just become thieves or something worse.
Drugs,
and girls just get pregnant and they don't get education. But I was lucky that my mom was a dentist and we had a good life, fortunately. We could escape to that reality because most of my friends from childhood, no.
They ended up going down a bad road, huh?
Yeah, practically.
And so you think your mom moving you out of the neighborhood is what, steered you in a different direction?
Of course, no doubt.
And where did your obsession with Spanish and teaching other people Spanish come in? Because, I guess it didn't start till about 12 years ago, which is really when Medellin became more of a tourist city. And
when it was starting, actually. But when the boom, I would say, was 17.
Yeah, but you can't start that business. You couldn't have started that business 12 years ago if you didn't already have some education.
See, it was the beginning. Well, the obsession, it was something that I wasn't looking for, honestly. I mean, this profession looks for me.
Yeah.
I came back from the States in 2011. I was 24. I didn't know what to do with my life. The only thing that I knew was that I needed a job where I could practice English because I didn't want to lose my English since I learned in the States in 5 months. So I said, no, I have to keep going with this. And then I found this job in a hostel called Tiger Paw.
I remember Tiger Paw. That was in Poblado, right? Provenza.
It is still
there.
Although it's not the same as it used to be when I was working there. Now it's back in that time was number one.
Yeah, hostel. It was a big deal.
I remember the competition it was between Tiger Paw and Casa Kiwi. Those two hostels were the number one, two.
And they were, if I remember right, they were good hostels that had a lot of private room options and parties. But they were clean. They weren't super backpackers.
No. I mean, you had every kind of gets that.
There was Happy Buddha too. That was a huge.
But after Happy Buddha was after.
Oh, okay.
But at the beginning, really beginning was practically Casa Kiwi and Tiger Paw.
Gotcha.
And maybe Black Chip, but normally the competition in TripAdvisor was Hostel World. Yeah, Hostel World. Yeah. In Hostel World, the competition was always Tiger Paw, Casa Kiwi. Those two. And I was there working at the reception, and I didn't expect to become a Spanish teacher at all. It was just one day that one of the guests, he was a very unique person, such a character, honestly. And he was 17 back in that time. And he just dropped out high school. to come to Colombia, like super loco. He is originally from Georgia, but the country, not Georgia.
Oh,
the
Georgia,
States.
the country.
Uh-huh.
So you can drop out of school legally. Right?
His family moved to Canada, and he grew up there. But then he decided in his senior year just to come to Medellin. I don't know why, loco.
Random
super
choice.
random. And we met at the hostel. I remember I did his check-in and everything. We became very close. And back in that time, I was incredibly lost with my life. And I used to get drunk and cry after my shift with him in the hostel. I just like, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. I don't know. It's like, and he said many kind words and say, you will find your passion, just be patient. And I say, you don't know anything about life. You're just 17.
But he did know, it sounds like.
Honestly, he was my angel number one, I would say. I always say
Then I was number two because I flirted with you.
You see. But no, I say my angel number one because, one day I wanted a beer and I say, oh, can you give me a beer, because my salary back at the time was horrible. He said, well, no, I'm not going to give you a beer for free. You have to give me something in exchange. Like, oh, no, he's going to ask for a kiss. That's what I thought. But he's like, no, you can teach me Spanish. I'm like, Spanish? I don't know how to teach. So what I did was I brought my English book, the one that I used in the States. First chapter was the verb to be. Because normally they teach you English starting with the verb to be.
Yep.
Entonces, I said, okay, verb to be, ser and estar. So I remember I just took a piece of paper, like 3-4 sheets or something like that. And I just, what is the word for that?
Gripped?
No. Bueno, I just put this paper together. And then I kind of made a notebook. And I started writing verb to be, ser and estar. Soy, estoy, eres, estás. The translation, like I am, you are, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, just a quick question, because I don't really know anything about English grammar or Spanish grammar for that matter. To be is I am, right?
Yeah, the verb to be is I am, you are, he, she is, and so on.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
So I started doing the two options we have in Spanish, and then he was asking me like, okay, so when do I use soy or estoy? I'm like,
just guess.
I know, well, soy is when you say like, soy Violeta, and estoy like when you say estoy en Medellín. But honestly, no, I didn't know.
You didn't really know.
I didn't know. Like,
and that actually takes a long time anyway for the people listening that don't know any Spanish at all. Spanish has two ways to say I am.
Yeah.
And it's
soy, estoy.
You would say I am in this place. I am in this seat.
Like location.
And then I also am American. In English, it's only one. Right? And then in Spanish, those are two
options. And practically what I tell my students, because there is a theory like to memorize ser for permanent things and estar for temporary. But I don't like that way of teaching, because when sometimes you go to the past tense on the future, it just doesn't work. Yeah. And for me, it's practically learning the uses of estar, which is for, and that's it. And if it's not that, then it's ser, easy. So you use the verb estar when it's location for people and things. That's why you say estoy en Medellín. You use it for feelings, estoy feliz. Condition, which is a status, like estoy ocupada. Company, which is to be with someone, como estoy contigo, I'm with you. Y ongoing actions, like I am walking, I am eating, estoy comiendo, estoy hablando. That's it. And if it's not those 5 situations, then it's ser.
Yeah.
Entonces, so back in that time, I didn't know that. I was just like, I don't know.
I didn't know it until just now, actually.
I don't know. But then he said, anyway, I just say, okay, this is just what you have to memorize. And that was our lesson. Of course, I didn't know anything about Spanish. And then, like 2 months later, I guess, he left. But before leaving, he gave me an envelope with something inside. And he said, just open this when I'm gone. Like, so dramatic, And I said, okay. He left. And I remember when I was on the taxi on my way back home, while the traffic light was in red, I opened the envelope. And what I took immediately was the notebook that I did with the papers, And when I saw that, I don't know why, I had this moment of illumination. And it's when I thought like, I have to become my Spanish teacher. That's my call. I don't know what I thought.
What was in the envelope? Can you share that or no?
Like,
is it a secret?
No.
What he gave you in the envelope?
I don't want to see that right now.
Yeah, like, no, I don't want to see it. I want you just to explain what it was. I didn't hear what.
That's what I say. Like the cuaderno, the notebook that we improvised that day when he exchanged a beer for a Spanish class.
So he gave it back to you.
Exactly. I didn't know he was keeping that. I don't know why he kept it.
Why did he give it back? He needed to learn, right?
I don't know. He just put on the envelope that with a beautiful letter. And that's it. And when I took that out...
Was it a love letter or was it...
Yeah, kind of. No, it was just beautiful words, like with motivation that I'm a special person, that I have a lot of values, that I'm worth. That is, words that I needed to listen back at that time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's what I say. Like, for me, was the call. I don't know why he gave me that, but when I took the notebook out, well, because as I say, I just took a piece of paper and staple. Oh, finally, I remember the word.
So you had this like romantic moment for a second, and then it hits you need to be a Spanish teacher. And then after that, you say to yourself, I need to go find more gringos like this guy that'll write like sweet notes. And...
No. It wasn't like that. No. Then I was like, okay, how can I become a Spanish teacher? I remember I had a friend from Bogota, and he was a Spanish teacher for foreigners. And I just asked him, like, how can I become a Spanish teacher? He gave me the information. I applied to this school in Barcelona. It was a course for 2 months. I have many problems to get to this school. At the beginning was just passing the test. I failed. I did the test 3 times because I didn't know any Spanish grammar at all.
Okay.
I knew how to speak the language, but not how to teach it. And they were just asking me like things like, what do you say to the student? Que tengas un buen día. And in another situation, you say, tienes un buen día. And they're like, subjunctive verb. And I'm like, because that's the correct verb conjugation.
That's the way my grandma said it when I was a kid.
That's why I didn't know why.
Copy grandma.
So at the end, after 3 times, I had the admission, but they say you have to keep studying. You can fail the program here in Barcelona. After that, then I was, okay, I need the money. And when I did the math, I needed to work like for 5 years in order to get the money that I needed for that. And
so now that you've developed, though, sorry to interrupt that, but now that you've developed as a Spanish teacher and you now know all the rules better than anyone I personally know, and communicate them very, very well, what do you believe sets your teaching approach apart now compared to other teachers?
Well, after finally, I can connect what I was talking with this actually. I was denied the visa to go to Spain. So I could get the money. So when my angel number 2, a person that I really appreciate, he helped me with this. But the visa, I was denied the visa to go to Spain. So it's when I started studying by myself because I say, well, maybe this is the universe just telling me, like, work it, bitch, because
you need to study more.
Because I drop out medicine school, I drop out dentistry school. So it's like, well, if you really want this, show me. Mm-hmm. So that's what I decided to study by myself. I became a self-taught, is the word?
Self-taught. Self-taught.
Eso, autodidacta. So I started studying with books, grammar books from the library of my previous university, online. And with every student that I had, I started like studying, analyzing. So with the time, I became frustrated teaching the language because I actually couldn't understand either the explanations. I was like, well, for me, this doesn't make sense. And I remember as a student, English student, I was kind of a pain in the ass for the teachers because I'm like, why this? Because I really want to understand the logic of stuff. It's very Capricorn. So
I'm a Capricorn too.
Kidding. So that's why. Okay.
Maybe that's why we're friends.
Obvio. Entonces, I need to know the logic and Entonces, when I was analyzing this, I say, no, I don't like this. This is not efficient. My students say a lot of time, I don't like it. So I started to just use my imagination or analysis, everything, it's like, I need to organize this. Because what I saw with all the other methodologies was just a mess. So it's when I came out with my method. That's why it's different, because I started to get the stuff that are useless at the beginning, like out. Imagine that I'm just putting in a line
the most important stuff to get some.
Yeah, because when I was an English student, I also noticed that it's like, why am I learning this at the beginning? This is so useful. It's not useful. Yeah. So that's how, because I just reorganized the information to get the things that for sure you need to learn from the beginning. Like one basic thing, for example, is one of the famous universities here to learn Spanish, EAFIT. First class is the alphabet. When I saw their books, because one student shared the book with me, I said, what? The alphabet? I mean, why do you need the alphabet? That's time that you're wasting. I hate wasting time.
For sure.
I'm obsessed with the time. So it's like when I was learning also Portuguese, I had the same problem. I'm like, why are we doing this? This is so useless. So at the beginning, you don't need to know the names of the letters.
Yeah,
you need to know the pronunciation of the letters. And that's what I do in the first class with a beginner from zero. It's like, if you don't know the name of the letters, it's not a big deal. You just write down or the cell phone,
know how
that's
to
it.
make it sound
But
right.
no, in EAFIT, the first 4 hours of class you have there is just learning the names of the letters, which is like 4 hours that are gone.
It makes no sense.
Forever.
Yeah,
So that's why. It's because I made a method that is way more efficient.
Way faster, yeah. So now that you've had, 12 years teaching gringos like me,
a lot,
chasing around all the American guys in Medellin trying to teach classes. Now that you've been doing that, what do you consider some of the challenges that expats face and in moving through the language efficiently?
Sometimes it's just trying to create their own sentences. And that's why I also noticed that with my students, and that's why I wanted to create a method that could give them the tools to create their own sentences and so that express their own thoughts. Because normally with many other courses, what you learn is just memorizing phrases. With very famous apps and programs, it's just memorizing phrases. And I don't like that way of teaching at all.
I would argue that it gets you from A to B, right? If you're a new foreigner coming to another country, if you have a few phrases or the more vocabulary you have.
Survival phrases, sure.
Survival.
Yeah,
exactly
survival.
Right.
But if you're not in the survival mode, no, that's useless. It's like if at the beginning you just, I need to order something, fine, memorize the phrase. But when you really want to have a fluent conversation, no, that's useless.
Yeah.
It's just no way, because you're like, how to say? And then your brain is like freezing, looking for the sentence that you memorized. And it's not. When you understand the grammar well, and you know why this, how this, then you just put the things together and you create the sentence by yourself.
For me, I think that one problem many, especially adults, have is remembering how you learned your native language. And you learned your native language by being a kid and copying everything that everyone around you said in relation to what was going on in the situation. So if you tell me, go pick up the ball, my mom tells me, go pick up the ball, and I'm a little kid, and I go pick up the ball, then the next time I'm just like, go pick up the ball. I tell someone else, you know what I mean? So then you start putting all these things together. And I think once we become adults, we forget how we learn that native language.
Yeah, because the brain changes. So that's why I don't like
and you don't want to be a kid again, is what it is.
You can. Your brain is not the same. It's impossible. It's practically impossible, because the structure and the way the brain is wired as an adult is completely different when you're a kid. And that's why when there is a program or course or whatever, like learn Spanish as a kid, is impossible. You don't have a kid's brain anymore. It's impossible. And as an adult, you do want to find logic in things. When you're a kid, you're like, but it doesn't make sense when you're a kid, you're not just wondering at all. You just take it, right? So that's why I don't like that way of teaching, because your brain is not the same. And also it takes longer. It's longer. It takes more time.
I agree. So what I've seen with your content and just knowing you over the years versus other teachers that I've met along the way, right? I find so many teachers around the world to be the same in their approach. And especially here in Medellin, I think you find a lot of people that maybe aren't 100% honest about the culture and the things going. And you've just been, you've just made my life so entertaining here by seeing some of the YouTube videos and just us being friends over the years. And you're honest. You tell people the truth about the culture, the funny things, the bad things. And I've always admired that because I don't know, I just admire that. But can we for a second go and discuss the YouTube video that you did about the grillas in Medellin? Can we explain to the audience what a grilla is in Medellin? It's a cricket, but let's talk about that.
Yeah, it's a cricket. But yeah, I mean, to get a better explanation, you can go on YouTube and write down what's a grilla. And then you will get the long version of what I will say right now.
Are you the first one that comes up if you type that in?
Yeah.
Type in what is a grilla, which is grilla. And it comes up.
What is a grilla?
La Grillus campestris, hembra, popularmente conocida como grilla, es una de las especies que habita en Colombia.
And then social Spanish, of course.
So, and she's going to be dressed in the video like, what's the alligator guy, the crocodile guy? Like,
that was my idea because this is an animal. Of course, it's an animal's name.
It's a cricket.
So I wanted to create a series. Unfortunately, I couldn't continue with that. Colombian is normally is National Geographic, but what I wanted to do is a Colombian version. Exactly, the Colombian version with the animals.
And she's dressed like Steve the Australian, the crocodile guy.
That was the idea. As I was hunting the grillas.
The crickets.
A grilla practically is a hybrid.
A hybrid.
Between a gold digger and a slut.
Yeah, so grilla in Medellin is known as it's the girls that do everything they possibly can to dress.
Although not necessarily they are going to have sex with you. Yeah. So that is very important to understand.
They're only interested in getting money out of you.
Exactly.
Everything they do.
Or maybe getting dinner or an iPhone, something material, of course.
So it's a slang to explain that particular person falls into this circle of grillas or cricket girls that the idea is like a cricket, the little cricket on the ground that like hops on just to suck some blood and leave, right?
La grilla es un animal carnívoro. Le gusta la carne fresca y con dinero. Para la grilla es muy importante que su alimento tenga un medio de transporte propio, preferiblemente carro.
So, that video got a lot of views back in 2013 is when I made that video. And I got a lot of critics. Like, the comments are mostly Colombians and saying that I'm a horrible teacher. Also, other teachers say, like, you're a terrible tutor. Why are you explaining this? Why are you telling the gringos women here are like that? And blah, 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 blah. I'm like, well, no, because I don't only teach the grammar. I don't only teach my students how to create their own sentences. I also teach them the culture, and they need to understand that there are many grillas there. And although they are looking for love and they might think that a girl is good or whatever, it's not. Maybe sometimes they are a grilla. And actually, I have students that after a bad experience with a grilla, when they were trying to find a real girlfriend, they were like, well, if you don't approve the girl, I'm not going to date her at all.
No, I think I needed that.
See, no, I mean, it's true. And it's true. It's a few students that they had a situation when they show me the girl for the first time, I'm like, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. I remember one student saying, no, you're so mean. You really think that your people, they're bad, that you're so mean with your own people. I'm like, no, I know how they are. I'm honest. And I'm telling you, that girl is trouble. I remember pretty well. No, I remember this student specifically because I remember looking at that photo and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, that girl looks like a lot of fucking trouble. And he came, end up is the word, big trouble. Actually, the girl was that toxic, like incredible toxic, that I had a nickname for her because I guess it's the most toxic girl that I ever heard with my students, whatever. Yeah. And I call her like Chernobyl.
What's that?
Like Chernobyl.
Chernobyl, I don't know what that is.
She was very toxic.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what I say. Okay, so what's going on with Chernobyl? And it's because she was so incredible toxic.
Well, I think what happens, foreigners come to Medellin, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you guys maybe understand this. You might, but most people don't understand this. Most Colombians, I don't think understand. But foreigners come here, and even the grillas, the good girls, the bad girls, every girl's pretty, right? I mean, so 80% of the girls here are very attractive.
Yeah.
Good, bad, indifferent, whatever. They're pretty girls. And so Americans come here, foreigners in general, and you really don't know the difference. It took me years before I understood that this is a classy girl, this is a
Trashy
slut,
girl.
a bad girl,
That's a
and
grilla.
this is a grilla, and this is this. And
Uh-huh.
now I get it. Took me a long time and a lot of
Yeah,
a lot of
it's
learning
like that. It's
experiences,
only
right?
for you. And that's why I decided to make this video about the grilla, because I'm every class with every student telling them what a grilla is, and say, you know what? I have just to make the video. I will give you the link and you just watch it, and that's it. Then you get the idea of what a grilla is. And if that girl that you're dating is like that, run away. That's
You know,
it.
I took your video several times, actually, not just once, but I took it because I would watch it and I would start laughing, and it made me feel better about some situations I'd gone through with some videos, actually. And anyway, I put it up, and I had 3 or 4 different girls every single time that I put this up, and I probably put it up on my status 4 or 5 times on social media. And I'd have 3 or 4 girls every single time be like, F you, I don't know. And it was always the grillas that were on my status looking, right?
No, it's just, I mean, I'm fine talking about these uncomfortable things. Like, actually, my most viewed video on my channel is sex vocabulary.
Yeah.
Honestly, so far or until now, I'm the only Spanish teacher who dares to teach the sex stuff.
Yeah.
Other tutors no, because in Latin America there is this conception that if you're a tutor, you have to be professional and pulcro and, like perfect, and teaching this stuff is just like, no, I mean, that's no classy or whatever. But I decided to make this video because I also have this situation with my students. When they are with their girlfriends or future wife, because believe it or not, many of my students have already gotten married. But when they are in sex, they just don't understand what she's saying.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they don't understand because...
I think sometimes it's better not to understand, though. I think looking back on it, I had a lot of fun not knowing.
If your girl is telling you the instructions, what do you mean? I mean,
I think it's better just
of course, it's very important to understand what the girl is saying. But if she's telling you like to pull off or whatever, and you don't get it.
Oh, yeah. I guess.
Or she's just giving you the instruction like, I like this better, or do this, do that. And you're like, I mean, no. Of course you need to know.
I don't know. I don't think I knew what they were telling me for like the first year, but I also didn't care. It was really funny in English. Well, sorry, not in English, but there's a country song that came out right after I started traveling Latin America. And it was talking about this guy who had fallen in love with this girl who spoke Spanish, which is the language of love, right? And he says, I don't have any clue what she said, but I loved how she said it. Like, it was like something like that. And I heard that song and I'm like, this is my life. Like, it was my life for the first year here. I'm like, I don't have any idea what that girl said to me.
Well,
but I sure liked it.
Es no es bueno para nada. And for my students, especially the ones that are looking for a future family.
Yeah, you need to know. I agree.
Of course they need to.
I'm half joking, but you definitely need.
For me, it's very important. I mean, I can imagine myself in that situation when the guys tell me, I'm like, I don't know. I just open my legs. No, I mean, no. No, that's it. No.
No.
That's not real connection in sex. So.
Yeah. I think so much of it's nonverbal, right? Like, it's mostly a nonverbal thing where you don't need a lot of words.
No, I don't. I disagree. As a woman, you really need communication. Like, you know what? I don't like this. I like this, or do this, do that, so that I get more pleasure. At least for me, it's more important.
Well, now I understand all the words. I've definitely learned over the years. It took me a minute, but now I have the vocab, and it's really working out for me.
Oh, yeah.
So now I want to discuss a little bit about the role of language. And obviously we know that the more interconnected people are and the more different people from different countries understand each other, the better everything works, right? For the most part. So let's discuss the role of language learning and in fostering connections and understanding those differences between cultures. For example, let's compare the quality of experience for someone who lives in Colombia and doesn't speak the language versus someone like myself who does?
Completely different. That's why I also got frustrated when teaching Spanish, because I know it's not the same experience. And especially if you want to live here for 3 months, 6 months, and if you don't communicate, you just don't make friends.
Mhm.
And if you don't make friends, you're just isolated yourself from the world. That I don't know why you come here then. It's like, if you want to isolate yourself, then just stay in your place,
Just
you know,
stay home
in your
and-
country. But yeah, I mean, it's just the lack of connections, for sure. You just, I mean, it's the same when I went to the States. When the Latinos move there and they don't want to learn the language, it's just isolate themselves from the gringos. And for me, it's always like, what's the point? If you go
Just
there,
stay where you were.
why are you here? Why are you even living here? It's like, I don't get it. For me, I don't get it. Oh, I know it because the money and blah, blah, blah. But actually, that's not smart from the point of view of business. Because if you want to get better connections, a better job, then you have to speak the language.
Speak the language, absolutely. You know, I want to point out while we're on that topic that I used to think, before I started traveling, I used to think that I was one of those Americans that thought, how do these people live here in the United States for 20 years and they don't speak the language? You see people from, you know, Mexico, Latinos in general, everywhere, every country, but they do exactly what you just said. And I thought, these Mexicans, I can't believe they come here and they do this. But then I moved to South America. And you know what I found? 98%, I think you would agree, 98% of the Americans that live in Colombia make almost no effort to learn this language
at all.
They stay in Poblado where you can ask for an English
menu. And they
menu.
complain about not speaking English here. Like, people not speaking. I'm like, what the fuck? This is not your land.
You don't speak English
This
here.
is Colombia.
Exactly.
I mean, because I have met foreigners that like, I don't get it. Why there are no more Colombians speaking English? Like, well, because you're in Colombia. Duh.
They don't have to speak English here.
What are you talking about? Yeah, it's just like the disconnection that you get from the people, actually. So it applies not only for Colombia, any country. Because when I went to Brazil, for example, for holidays, for me it was pretty sad that I couldn't talk to people
in Portuguese.
Just with survival phrases. You just can't get enough information to get to know the culture or whatever. So after that trip is when I decided to learn Portuguese.
Yeah, I've said the same thing over the years. I mean, you know how I travel. When I travel, I'm traveling for a month or 2 months. I'm going to go there and learn, or longer. I'm going to learn as much as I possibly can about a place. And I see friends of mine all the time on YouTube or wherever, Instagram, and they'll be like, in Rio. They've flown from Atlanta to Rio or Miami to Rio, but they went for 4 days or even 7 days. And I'm like, and then they'll tell everybody, oh my God, I went to Rio. It was the greatest experience ever. Like, you didn't even see, in 7 days, you didn't even see fucking Rio.
No.
That place, it's 8 million people. It's a massive city. There's so much stuff.
And without the language, no. I mean, when I went there and I didn't speak, I was like, well, next time I come back, I will speak and then I will get the experience for sure. Because I felt again what I felt when I went to the States and I didn't speak English. And for me, it was horrible because it's like, well, I really want to know what's going on. Well, at least that's the way I am. But yeah.
There is a coolness though in the beginning. There's a coolness to not knowing what's going on. Like I feel like you learn in a different way when you can't speak to the people. And then once you do learn and you can see both sides, right? You don't agree?
No, I like it when I actually can.
Well, no, I for sure like it better.
Connect.
No, me too. I like it better. All I'm saying is that don't let that get in your way of traveling to a place, because I don't know that I would, well, I know I wouldn't have spoken Spanish to the level that I speak it now had I not come to this place. I wouldn't speak Portuguese at all had I not gone to Brazil, right? And I was there 8 months. But there's a cool experience with not speaking it when you first arrive, because you have to figure out all these things.
Well, maybe it's because
non-verbally.
With Brazil, maybe it's different, because when I went to Europe, for example, and I didn't speak Polish, when I went to Poland, that I couldn't understand one word, of course. And many people, they don't speak English at all. Well, yeah, it's frustrating, but I didn't care that much. Maybe it's because I do care about Brazil, because I love the culture, I love the language. Amazing. So for me, it was like, oh, no, it's so frustrating. But yeah, I get the point. Yeah, but maybe it's because with Brazil, I feel different.
Brazil's my favorite country I've ever been to.
I'm
comfortable in Colombia because I've been here for so long, but Brazil's my favorite country, including my own country.
Cool. I love Brazil as well.
It's the best, and it's probably the easiest place to go in the world that you don't speak the language. In that, like, I mean, it's a hard, you got to make an effort to learn the language, and you're certainly not going to have a great experience without it. But the Brazilians make being there without speaking the language easier than most people.
Brazil, sí.
So if we're speaking to people in the United States that are interested in coming to Medellin to learn the language, or just coming to Medellin for whatever, or Colombia in general, we both know that we just hit on a minute ago that Colombia's had its history of violence. Then I think with Uribe, it got really cleaned up for many years. And then I would say that the last 5 or 6 years, that has started to change back the other way to some degree, not to that degree that it was before. But what is your advice? What advice would you give to foreigners who are coming to Medellin to study or do whatever in order to keep them out of trouble here?
Well, I mean, although Colombia, we have the fame of a violent country, things run perfectly here, considering this fact.
They do.
So even if you're scared about coming, I mean, if you come to cities like Medellin, Bogota, it's just going to be normal. Or even Bucaramanga or other cities. It's just as long as you're not in Bichada, in the Amazona area, you will be fine. Okay. And
well, I would say unless you're going to come down here and flaunt money, or don't flaunt your wealth, and don't flaunt your things.
Sí, también, of course. I mean, showing out like your rings and your stuff.
But that's what these idiots do. The foreigners that get in trouble here, it's always because they're doing shit like that.
And I don't know why this habit, like when they have on the phone here, the cards,
Oh, the credit cards.
That's something very common in the States. Here, you don't see people with this pocket that you have here, like sticker. I don't know what's that.
I would say just keep your phone in your pocket.
Yeah, but sometimes they have like the cards and also like bills. It's like, what the fuck? I mean, they put that on the table, and it's like just telling the thieves, like, hey,
I have a $1,500 phone in my hand.
No.
Plus, I have 7 credit cards, and if you steal this one phone, you get my credit cards, my bank cards, my cash, and my phone.
I don't get it. It's pretty dumb. And sometimes they have a wallet and with a clip, and they have like the cash there, and they have like a bunch of 100,000 pesos bills there. I'm like, you see it, and I don't know why. Maybe they just they have low self-esteem. When I say this, it's like, for me, these people, they don't have self-esteem, and they just want to show off. I have thousands of pesos. And at the end, it's just stupid because that's to give papaya. Dar papaya is to make it easy for thieves to steal your money or whatever.
Giving papaya is a slang that Colombians use to say, don't give papaya means don't give them a reason. Don't show off to where you attract thieves.
Yeah, it's like, don't make it easy for thieves, practically.
Yeah.
But they make it so easy for thieves. It's just do that, watch out your stuff if you're in a coffee shop, because that happened once in a coffee shop. A girl she went to the bathroom, and she left the mug on the table. Gone.
For sure.
It was kind of like, if you are in a coffee shop, just tell the person next to you, hey, can you just, puedes echarle un ojo? It's like to put an eye on that, echarle.
Yeah.
And that's it, un ojito. And what else? No, that's it. And be careful with Tinder, of course.
Oh,
I always tell my students, don't use Tinder. It's not a good place to find a woman.
For sure.
Maybe Bumble, but
I don't know, man.
If you like apps,
there's just too many bad people working on those apps.
Unfortunately, for you as a foreigner, you are a target. That could be a good option for a Colombian guy that knows the dynamic and reads better women, because although they are Colombian, some guys just cannot read women here. But yeah, unfortunately for foreigners, they are a big target on these dating apps. It's just
if you need a date here, just go to the gym and then find the girl with the intimidating face and be the only guy that's apparently that works too. I don't know. That's what they tell me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe it's although in language exchange, you have to be careful as well. Because now these, as I call, I don't know, escopolamineras.
Oh, they're drugging people at language exchanges?
See, now it's happening because they know they are gringos. Entonces, things just got worse after the pandemic. Yeah.
After those
desperate times,
after all those assholes shut down the world for 2 years unnecessarily. Yeah, let's.
But that's for another time.
So, exactly. So, as a language instructor, what do you find most fulfilling about your job, and how does
For
that
me,
contribute to your personal goal?
It's just seeing the process. I always compare this to the feeling that a mom gets. I mean, I don't have kids and I'm not going to have. I already had the surgery.
You did?
Yeah. So no, I don't want, no, it's just so much responsibility and I like to sleep. So of course, no. But maybe that's what they feel when you see your baby growing up. And for me, it's the same. When I have a student that goes from 0 to a fluent conversation, I'm like, but because I helped to that process. And
so how did I grow up from the time you met me at the gym until now? Did I grow up well?
Of course.
Are you proud of where I am at this point?
Sure. And yeah, for me, that's the thing that makes me feel wonderful. Or when I help people, because, I mean, I don't know the reasons for all my students to learn the language. Sometimes it's just, I mean, there are plenty of reasons. And especially for those who follow me on YouTube, that many times they are not actually taking lessons with me or whatever. But the thing, when I get the messages, like the comments, like, thank you so much. This was so helpful.
For sure.
Oh my God, what I didn't find your channel before, or things like that. Because
the appreciation.
I mean, they're like, I could get the idea in 3 minutes for something that took me like 5 years to learn. Yeah, it's just like I don't know how to describe it. Like the feeling that I get when people feel that they feel very thankful because I help them very easy.
Reach their goals. You help them reach their goals. For sure. Absolutely.
So for me, it's like, oh, well, now that's what makes me feel that it's worth it to be alive.
So I know you've written some books and you have some courses and you got a book or maybe 2 on Amazon, right?
It's just one so far.
One book?
Yeah.
And then where do you see your business going from there? Do you think you'll get into more digital products, or you like?
Yeah, the idea is to get more levels. So far, I have my virtual video course. Is pretty core video lessons. It's exactly, it's my website, socialspanish.com. My course is called Get to the Point. That's the same name for my book. So it's Get to the Point exactly because that's the way I am. I go to the point. I don't like this like, blah, blah, blah. No, it's like to the point. Because as I told you, I value a lot time. And I hate when people make me waste my time, especially when learning a language. That's how I felt when I learned Portuguese. And I'm like, in 3 months, I learned what I normally teach in a week and a half. And I say, this is incredibly slow.
Portuguese is such a beautiful language, right?
Yeah, it is. It's
funny.
beautiful.
And to hear the Brazilians speaking it is just like...
No, it's just, right? I love it. Yeah.
I like the Fiji Baki, YouTube, Facebook.
Sí.
It's like all English words, you just put an E on the end.
Sí, it's muy cute. That's so cute. So yeah, the idea just to get the levels of all levels for my Get to the Point course. So far, they are available 2 levels. You can get from the very basic, which is pronunciation. You will cover with level 1 and 2 all the indicativo. So it's all these past tense.
So you go from 0 to where? A1, A2,
B2.
B2. Oh, wow.
The beginning of B2.
And because C1 is super high level.
Yeah. So it's the beginning of B2 because in B2 you do also subjunctive as well. But yeah, so far is there like the levels. So the idea is to get the other levels where I would teach the subjunctive or more specific with verbs like reflexive, like gustar. So that's my idea, to keep with the levels. And hopefully writing the books for all those levels, but it takes time to write a book, of course. But I already have all the video lessons that you will feel exactly the same as a private lesson. It feels exactly the same.
Awesome. So, Violeta, you were amazing. As I expected you would be.
You too.
Thank you so much. So how do these people reach out to you if they're interested in online classes or any of your services?
Well, especially for the video courses, you don't need me practically because it's just exactly the same as a private lesson. The video course comes with activities, with the theory, with flashcards, with audios. It's just very, very complete.
Comprehensive, yeah.
Exacto.
Complete, yeah.
Es muy completo. Es
Complete, comprehensive.
Sí.
Yeah.
So you go to socialspanish.com, you will see there Get to the Point, and you will get all the information about my courses and, of course, my book.
Do you want on Amazon? That's on your website too, or is that on?
Yeah, Get to the Point. You can go on Amazon to buy my book as well, Self-Learning. It's a self-learning book, and I like the fact that it's full color. That's what is available so far, digital version. Unless you are in Medellin, you can get the paperback. For that, you just can reach me on my website, socialspanish.com as well. But online, you can get the digital version on Amazon. Get to the Point, Social Spanish.
And I will tell you guys, I have had a ton of language experience, which I don't talk about. I've traveled most of Latin America, most all of it. And I love it all. But there is no better place in the world to learn Spanish than Medellin, Colombia. Absolutely. This accent's beautiful. These people are beautiful. And obviously, Violeta is beautiful. And if you see her in the gym with that mean face,
yeah, you can talk to me. No,
you can talk to her. It's not that bad.
Yeah, now you know that I'm not angry. It's just like very concentrated.
Thank you guys for tuning in, and reach out to Violeta on her website, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.
It was amazing. Very fun.
Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Matt Chambers Connects. Stay tuned for upcoming episodes where we'll dive deeper into these two fascinating worlds. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Matt Chambers Connects. You can also find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube Music, and many other major podcast platforms so you don't miss a show. Also, please join us on our social media channels so you can connect with other listeners and ask your most pressing questions. And also tell us what types of guests you'd like to see on the show. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.